It's pretty cool. Okay, so I have been a little bit absent. I've been sick about a week. But this is Shared Beauty. This is one of the Spooktober 2023 VN Jam games. And the developer very kindly gave me permission to stream it. And I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. I have not played this game, so this is kind of a cold read. So hopefully, whatever comes my way, I will be able to manage it with my voice, such as it is. But I just couldn't wait any longer, and I was feeling well enough today that I thought, yeah, I can do this. We can get it going. So, without further ado, this is Shared Beauty. So let's go ahead and start. Soft, hazy sunshine envelops the village you grew up in. Oh, second person, that's interesting. You can make out dewdrops on the grass, glittering around you as you sit outside with your little sister. Algis? Algis, this is Germans? Are we in a German village? I believe that's Algis. Or Augis. I would say Augis. I think that's not totally familiar, but hopefully that's right. It's a misty early morning. Augis blows into her hands, trying to warm them up before she rejoins you in tending to the bucket of laundry. Isgard, my hands hurt. Oh, poor Augis. I know, the water's cold, but we can't always boil it. We need to save the wood, understand? She pouts, but mumbles a yes and continues. Your eyes wander until you see another seam about to snap on her clothes. It's only been a few weeks since you and your mother have mended them last. You bite your lip and look away. You wish you could provide more for Augis, but the last harvest wasn't good, only making the village and your family poor. Important people only come around every once in a while to collect taxes. Otherwise, you and your people are on your own. Even the witch has left this place. You hear footsteps and look up. It's Miltraud. You often hang out with each other. Guys, have you heard? A noble is coming. He sent his harbinger ahead to arrange his lodgings. What? To our village? But we're so far out. He's passing through. I hope he buys some of our wares. Millie, you have to be realistic, especially with nobles. They're not really the sharing type, are they? Oh, come on, you and your pessimism. It's not like we have anything else to look forward to. And they at least have to stock up on food and water. That's true. I just wish people like him would care more about us. As you try to warm your hands, you hear chatter and laughter growing louder. It's Faralda and her friends. Even after all these years of knowing her, you are still in awe of her beauty. Once they're out of earshot, Mildred sighs. I'm so jealous of her. Must be nice having those good looks. Oh, Mildred, it's okay. I'm sure you look fine. But I do have an admirer of my own, you know. Before you could ask her to tell you more, another woman traipses across the grass to join you. It's, oh Lord. Sieglind? It's Sieglind. Looking as confident and reliable as always. Admiring Faralda again. She may have a pretty face, but don't you think she's a little slow on the uptake? Sieglind grins and Miltraud politely laughs. Oh, do I engage in this behavior too? This is no, Sieglind. This is inappropriate behavior. What? No, I don't know. I don't know anything about her history with Faralda, but unacceptable. We'll just not say anything right now. You avoid Sieglind's eyes. Don't you agree too, Isgard? You just shrug your shoulders. She gave me a cookie yesterday. I don't like what you're saying. The other two apologize half-heartedly. Well, at least she got an apology out of him. Trying to salvage the mood, Mildred claps her hands. So about the noble, do you guys have anything you want to sell to him? I'm not sure. I don't think he needs a woven basket from us. We also don't have the sorts of things that a noble might like. I think your carved wooden figures look awesome, Eastgard. Aw, thanks, Augis. Thank you, Augis. Oh, hey, me and Eastgard were on the same page, apparently. You pet her head and smile. She beams back at you. By the way, I also heard that the noble is still single. Sieglin snorts. Oh, come on. You looking to try climbing into his bed? You smack Sieglin's leg. Augis is still here. Sieglin shrugs and rolls her eyes. You look back down at Augis. How about you leave the washing to me and go help out Mother in the house? Okay. She closes the door behind her and you sigh. Well, Sieglin, now you're free to be your vulgar self. She snickers and slowly looks over Mildred from head to toe. And she's taking her time. Oh, I need to push the button. Okay. Mildred frowns and starts to cover herself with her arms. Oh, that's uncomfortable. Well, I guess you could try for a night and see if his conscience would make him stay with you. Ouch. Mildred slaps Sieglin's back 3 times. You are disgusting. Ever since you got married, you've been so bold about these topics. She finishes the last sentence with another slap. Sieglin just laughs and takes the blows in stride. Anyway, what I originally wanted to say is, she bends down a little and starts to whisper, what about showing off Feralda to him? What? Wait, what? Mildred wants to show off Feralda to the noble? When here I thought Sieglin was the bad influence here. Okay. Sieglin and you look at each other and then slowly turn to Mildred. You mean as his potential wife? Look, we need to do something so our village can survive. Feralda's not yet married. She's our best bet to get someone wealthier interested in our village. I heard the nobles really care about treating their in-laws right. Helping out a village of commoners would be nothing to them. You all stay silent for a few seconds. Then Sieglin furrows her brows and starts to scratch her chin. Do you guys remember the witch? Yes, of course. She's been gone for a while, hasn't she? Yeah. I'm actually glad. You never know when a priest will finally want to come visit us. Anyway, every time I went to buy medicine from her, it felt like her face had changed. In what way? Sometimes she had more wrinkles, sometimes she had less. She seemed more youthful before she left, actually, and her eyes seemed even prettier. I'm guessing she might have had a spell to become more beautiful. Why don't we try it for ourselves, then? Mildred, you're desperate. Look at the foundations we have. You think we could beat someone like Feralda just by making your base look nicer? Mildred looks clearly hurt, but doesn't say anything back. Your cheeks burn as your fingers curl around the fabric of your skirt. Well, there's also something else to consider. There might be some risks to that spell, but one little setback for Feralda wouldn't hurt much, right? You look at Sieglin with confusion. Don't think too hard about it. I'm just saying it's worth a try. Who are my friends here, man? I guess. Look, if you really want to make sure Feralda gets picked, then we should use magic to help. We could look in the witch's old cabin and find something that works. But we're not witches. What if the spell really does go wrong? Sieglind shrugs her shoulders. People like Feralda can take that. She doesn't even wait for a reply before she just changes the topic. Mildred adjusts to Sieglind's whims as always. You look back towards the door of your home. Oh. Ingthing, hey, welcome to the chat. Medieval fantasy German mean girls. That's what I'm getting. Yes, this is what it seems like. I was like, am I going to start trying to make fetch happen? Like, definitely. Nice to have you here, Ingthing. You look back towards the door of your home. You think about Alogis's clothes, about the fear you all feel whenever someone gets sick. How many times have you prayed for things to get better? Then you remember Feralda's smile. She smiles so often, even living here. She must get so many compliments every day. So many men stare at her when she walks by, leaving you unnoticed. You knead your skirt with your fists. Yeah, Feralda can take the risks. She has it better than a lot of you. She could try and help out for once. Hello. I try not to think about how a commoner might be treated when marrying into a noble family, or how the noble themselves might treat their spouse. It'd be a good deal for her, right? She'd like that idea too, right? But what exactly do you know about her? You are not that close. Not anymore. With mixed feelings, you go to bed early that day. The next day, someone is knocking on your door. It's Feralda. Feralda, hello. It's been a while since you've spoken to each other one-on-one. Hi, sorry, are you all right? What's going on? It's Ermina. She's been coughing so much and it just won't get better. And today she even started having a fever. She only has her father left. Do you have any medicine for this? You shake your head. Feralda covers her face with her hands. As somebody who has had little kids that are sick recently, this bit is hitting me a little hard. Oh no, I already asked everyone else on the way here and they all said the same. It's all so frustrating. We have no priest here and even the witch has left us. What are we supposed to do? You pat her back and bring her a cup of water to calm her. This actually might be the perfect moment. Actually, do you want to go to the witch's cabin with me? Feralda looks at you in confusion. But she's not there anymore. Suddenly you're getting cold feet. How are you going to convince her to undergo a spell you've never tried before? You don't know if it even exists. You've just opened your mouth to take back your words when Sieglind appears in the doorway. Excuse me, do you have some milk? My little boy got sick and I want to make some milk tea for... She pauses, staring at Feralda for a moment. Then she looks to you. I didn't know that Feralda liked to visit you. Sieglind, do you have medicine for coughing and fevers? Not anymore, sweetie. Was that what you were talking about? Sieglind's sharp gaze on you makes you feel small and anxious. For some reason, Isgard asked me if I wanted to go to the witch's cabin. Sieglind's eyes widen for a moment. You notice that she's trying to suppress the grin that is forming on her lips. Uh-oh. Well, maybe we can find some medicine there. We can only hope the witch left something behind. A beautiful smile finally returns to Feralda's face as she turns back to you. Oh, that's why you asked. She takes your hands in hers. Guilt stabs you in your chest as you see her warm and genuine smile. Let's go, Isgard. This reminds you of her younger self. She used to pull you along, just like she is now, to play outside. You were both so carefree back then. How does Feralda feel about that time after all these years? Is she sad you distanced yourself from her? Does she know it was because you're jealous of her? Well, I want to know now that I know that this is happening. Kids are going to be sick, right? Let's take a moment. Do you remember playing together? Feralda stops for a moment and thinks. I thought you were the one who forgot. Being a child and playing all day was fun. You remember making flower rings and garlands? You smile and nod. Sieglinde snorts. Yeah, you can reminisce later. We need that medicine now. All right. Feralda lets go of your hands, bringing you back to the present, and walks ahead of you. Sieglinde comes closer and whispers into your ear. You probably thought of the spell before the medicine, right? Not that I blame you. We can try and convince her there. Let's get Miltraud too. You look at the ground and follow Sieglinde. Ooh, I don't like where this is going. Mean girls indeed. On your way, you knock on Miltraud's door to convince her to join you. It's very easily done. You don't even need to say much after she sees Feralda. Unaware of the question the three of you would soon ask her, Feralda walks with light feet into the forest. Backgrounds in this are very pleasant. A stick snaps under your shoes as you wander along a pathway between the trees. Almost no sunlight filters through. The canopy is too dense, typical of the region you live in. Foggy days make it even harder to find your way. Thankfully, it's clear today. That's clear? It's clear for Germans, right? After a bend in the path, you catch sight of the witch's cabin. Half hidden between branches and bushes, the eerie wooden house looms over you. None of the villagers, even the older ones, can remember when the witch first appeared. She was just there one day, along with her cabin. No one really trusted her, but no doctor from the city visited the village, and her medicine was certainly useful in their absence. The village grew to begrudgingly accept her in time. But then she disappeared without a word, leaving this cabin to be claimed by the forest. The old wooden door squeaks as you open it. The house's interior is unchanged, despite the witch having been gone for months. There is no dust to be seen. That's very strange. By all accounts, it looks like someone just left for a walk. Seeing this unnerves you a little, but you force yourself to step further inside. The four of you carefully look through shelves and chests for clues. You decide to gather all the glass vials and bottles. Any idea what all these do? Not really. Maybe one of the books can tell us more? You guys can read? My uncle used to teach me before he left the village to become a priest. Does he ever send you money? What a question, Sieglinde. Man. Excuse me. I'm caught off guard. I'm going to take a little sip here. Sieglinde. Really? What a question. Priests must have it a little better than us, no? My father doesn't seem to be getting along with him anymore. That's sad. What a pity. Anyway, I guess we'll gather some books then. A lot of the books you find are written in various languages you can't read. Nonetheless, you admire the craftsmanship behind each book, running your fingers over the pages. Then, Feralda finds one you can read. What does it say, Isgard? Charms and spells for the late Valpurga. You all gather closer around the table on which the book lays. With utmost curiosity, you start to flick through its contents. The first page has a dedication to Walpurga. Your enemies are no more. In the pages beyond, there are spells to find lost objects, give others nightmares, or make them fall in love. After much searching, you finally find it, the spell of youth and beauty. It instructs you to kill a dove and use its blood to purify a small shrine. The receiver of the spell should put their right hand on the shrine. The others should cut their thumbs and put their wounds to the receiver's lips so they can drink their blood. Afterwards, the wounded participants should hold hands in a circle around the receiver and chant together. Oh, this is German. I'll do my best here. Geben Jugend Offersobskini, Einschein gibt das in allen Landen nicht schönes mit Imotesinn. Ein schönen gibt das allen Landen nicht schönes Imotesinn. Close enough. Now the question remains of how you convince Faralda to take part in this. And so I haven't actually found a list of all the potions she's made, but you take a deep breath and look to Faralda. I actually had another reason to invite you to the cabin. Faralda looks confused. Faralda, you, like all of us, suffer from the lack of resources we have in the village. You have a kind heart. Oh, you have a kind heart, so it hurts you even more that we can't get medicine for people like your poor sick friend Ermina. But you are beautiful, Faralda. You always have been. You might have a chance with the noble who's coming soon. And with the noble's favor, you can make life better for Ermina and everyone. Faralda only looks down and sighs. I'm not sure. In the end, I'm also just a peasant. But what does that have to do with this cabin? Be proactive and explain. Or we can let the others explain. I don't want any part of this. I'll let the others explain. But I'm a part of it. I'm here. I am a part of it, whether I want to be or not. I've already made all the decisions to get here. So I might as well explain it to her. Sieglin said that just before the witch left, she suddenly looked younger and more beautiful. But she didn't completely change. It was just like she had improved on what was already there. We wanted to come here to see if she had left anything behind, a potion or a spell, which she'd used to beautify herself. And I think we've just found it in this book. Sieglin looks satisfied. Sieglin then puts her arm around Faralda's shoulders. If the witch uses this spell herself, it must be safe for us, for you, to try. With her magic and your beauty, any noble would surely fall for you. But please, Faralda, our hopes rest on you. As his wife, you could ask anything of him for food, clothes, medicine, all that we've gone without for so long and more. Maybe even a priest. You would help everyone. Faralda takes a deep breath and then looks at you with conviction. All right. I'd rather do something than nothing. Way to go, Faralda. Way to be brave. You avoid meeting her intense gaze. Now, tell us what we have to do, Isgard. You repeat what you've read to them. I appreciate not having to try the German again. Whew, okay. A dove? We'd have to go back to the village and see if anyone has caught one. Faralda looks around the cluttered cabin, then disappears into another room without another word. Much to everyone's surprise, she comes back with a dead dove. It seems the witch liked to keep stocked with the ingredients she needed for her spells. It's curious that the dove doesn't show any signs of rotting. I don't like this, guys. I don't like where this is going. Is there still magic in this cabin, keeping the witch's ingredients fresh? Or the witch is here. I mean, that's an option. I hope it doesn't have to be freshly killed. After taking a small knife from the table, you prepare the shrine, and the three of you position yourselves around Feralda. You flinch when you have to cut yourself and put your thumb on her lips. It's clear she's uncomfortable, but she bravely continues and takes a sip. After she takes in a drop of blood from each of you, you start to chant. The room shakes slightly. A breeze plays with Feralda's hair, and for a second you think you see flower patterns glowing in her eyes. Whispers fly past your ears, and then complete silence. You wait for a few more seconds before you feel safe enough to move. Did it work? Well, something just responded. Feralda looks at her hands and then stands up. Do I look any different? Not sure. Maybe it takes time to show? Sieglind looks frustrated and turns away from Feralda. I hope that is the case. With a slight feeling of hope, you start to look through more books to identify the potions. 2 are meant to treat coughs, at least. Sieglind and Feralda take one each before you return home. Riddled with anxiety, you take a long time to fall asleep. For the next few days, you, Sieglind, and Miltrud observe Feralda in minute detail. Her hair has become much more vibrant. Her skin has lost any trace of dryness or the small scars she's gained from all the work she does. The men turn around even more when Feralda walks past them. Soon the 4 of you gather together in a corner of the village where almost no one goes to talk about the plan. We were successful, Feralda. I think so too. So, okay, what do you even talk about with a noble? I'm going to teach you some interesting topics, don't worry. When is he arriving again, Miltroud? In 3 days, I think. That means we can try and befriend the maids working for him in advance. Sieglind puts her hands on her hips. I say we prepare some good food to win them over. Sounds like a plan. You say your goodbyes and return home. A few days later, the whole village watches as the noble and his entourage arrive. He steps down from his strong white horse to survey his surroundings. The village elders immediately surround him. The Honorable Odin, your graces with your presence. Odin puts his hand, I'm going to say Odin, puts his hand up to stop the elders from speaking. He sighs. We can skip the formalities. Where is my harbinger? The harbinger steps forward and bows. I am here. Is there any hope for some fitting lodgings? His vassal shakes his head. So it's another night in the tent. Elder, do you have a large field we can use? The elders look at each other. Sieglind steps forward before they can reply. There's a lot of space next to our house, Honorable Odin. The noble fixes her with an icy and indifferent stare. She immediately bows her head. I did not give you permission to speak. But I suppose it's no matter. I am in a permissive mood today. Men, prepare the tents and follow the woman to the site. His entourage follows Sieglind as she begins to make her way to the field. She steals glances at you, urging you to join in, so you, Miltrud, and Feralda walk alongside her. You all start to whisper. Sieglind, are you out of your mind? You know how easily a noble can punish us. Inkthing says, oh, somebody got auto-modded. Sorry. He's such a prick when he first appears. Yes, he is. He's a complete asshole. Sieglind, are you out of your mind? You know how easily a noble can punish us. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, my dear. We are trying to get him to marry a peasant. You reach the field and Odin's men immediately start building the tents and sleeping places for themselves. A carriage brings up the rear with rich furnishings to be placed inside Odin's tent. The men look well trained and carry leather armor, bows, and swords. It makes you feel anxious to see so many men armed. It makes you feel anxious to see so many armed men in your village. They'll be busy for a while, so let's come back later after they're done. A few hours later. Do you think my current appearance is enough? You had all put your best skills to use to dress up Faralda. She would definitely outshine everyone in a normal village festival, but the noble's taste is unknown to you. Faralda, it's gonna be okay. Trust our judgment. You take a deep breath and approach the maids nearby. Can we help you with anything? The maids look up in surprise. Oh, we would be very happy about that. As you can imagine, we need plenty of water and food. You look at your friends with a smile. We had heard from the harbinger when you would arrive and prepared some things beforehand. The maids are immediately in a merry mood. Well done, us. At least we made the maids happy. A lot of bread, water, and diluted wine is brought by the other villagers and wheeled into the encampment. You look bitterly at the bounty of food. You know that your village will only be eating one meal a day for the next week, just so you can supply the noble and his entourage. The more elaborate dishes are brought to a table in front of a big tent. You are told the noble's taste tester is there. Is that the one who has to test the food for poison? Even out here? Sieglinde shrugs. I guess you never know where your enemies hide when you gain power. Sieglinde looks at you and Faralda. I think Faralda would be too nervous to speak if she went alone. Isgard, ask if you're allowed to bring one of our pies to him. You slowly nod in response. Your head starts to beat very your heart, not your head, that'd be weird. Your heart starts to beat very loudly. You pray that the noble is still in a good mood. Hesitantly stepping forward, you approach the table with Faralda in tow. The taste tester looks at you with utter annoyance. What do you want? We would like to bring one of our best pies to the Honorable Odin, especially our dear Faralda. She admires him. Faralda nervously fiddles with her hands. The taste tester scans her from head to toe. I see. Well, I guess having something to look at should be all right by him. He calls for one of the men, a knight who looks to be in charge of the others. Good day to you both. I am the captain here in service of the Honorable Odin. If you want to get closer to him, you'll have to go under inspection. If you are not willing, I suggest you leave. You nudge Faralda. She now looks at the captain, whose eyes widen slightly as they assess her. We are quite all right with it, thank you. Yes. I think his lordship would be pleased as well. He searches both of you, and as uncomfortable as it is, his hand never stays in one place too long. You and Faralda exchange a glance, and she relaxes slightly. I am done. Wait a moment, and I will ask if he wishes for this pie and your company. He disappears in the noble's tent and soon returns. He is fine with this. Taste tester, if you will. The taste tester slowly sits down, sighs heavily, and takes a bite. Poor taste tester has to taste everything. It's quite delicious. Neither of them move. You can't help but stiffen in place. Anything strange? No, they're clear. With that, you are guided to Odin's tent. Excuse me, I'm going to take another sip. Pardon my drinking sounds. Odin sits comfortably on his bed. He doesn't turn his head or try to meet your eyes. You can leave the pie on the table. You set the pie down while you give Faralda a soft nudge, urging her to step forward. She waits silently in front of him. After what feels like an eternity, Odon finally deigns to look at her, briefly, in annoyance before shock overtakes him. The noble is entranced within moments. I mean, look at her, how it wouldn't be. What is your name? Feralda. How old? 22. He slowly rises from his bed, circles around her, and then sits at the table in front of her. Guy's making me nervous. Would it be all right, Feralda, if you grant me your company while I eat? Yeah, I don't want to leave Feralda alone. That would be poor behavior, right? If I leave, that's kind of more to the plan. But we want them married, not assaulted. So let's go with this. You don't even dare to look in Odon's direction. You know his asking only for Feralda's company was a sign to leave, and you don't want to risk a noble's anger. But still, you feel like you need to ask at least. You gather your courage. Feralda, will you be all right to stay here alone? Feralda smiles and squeezes your hand. Yes, thank you for asking, Isgard. Satisfied, you quietly leave the tent. You wait anxiously for hours in your home with Miltraud and Sieglind discussing the day's events. Finally, as the daylight begins to fade, Feralda returns. She looks happy and sports a slight blush on her cheeks. Well, well, well. Looks like we have half a pair of lovebirds here. Feralda sputters and shyly looks away. Miltraud cautiously clears her throat. He wasn't rough with you, I hope. No, he was really quite patient and kind. He explained why he's traveling through here and asked how my life is in the village. He smiled a lot while we were talking. Sieglind laughs loudly and slaps Feralda's back. I knew you could do it. Look how you tamed that big old noble with that cute face of yours. You all sigh with relief. It's all right to continue like this. Feralda is going to be all right. You are going to be all right. Everything will be all right. You wake up early the next morning. With a yawn, you stretch your arms and push the hair out of your face. But then you feel something thin stuck between your fingers. Your eyes slowly wander towards your hand. Your skin feels thinner and drier than usual. And on your palm are several strands of loose hair. You immediately stand up, stumbling towards a bucket full of water to check your reflection. Your face looks fine, and so does your hair. At least, at first. Augie stirs and rubs her eyes. You open your mouth, then close it again. You can't bring yourself to admit what is happening to you. Instead, you shake your head and tell Augie to go back to sleep. She blinks, yawns, and lays back down. With everyone asleep once more, you sneak your way outside and throw away the strands of hair. As someone who has experienced hair loss, it's not a fun feeling, probably especially abruptly like this. Why would you be losing hair? No one in your family has lost their hair this early in life. Just then, an old woman walks by. It's Ianhild, one of the few elders who are still alive in the village, and a very dear person to you, Jonhild. Oh my, why are you already awake, my dear? A child like you needs sleep. You smile and greet her. I'm already 22, Jonhild. You will always be a child to me, my dear. Did you have a nightmare? You start to nervously knead your hands. Something like that. Actually, Jonhild, is it possible to lose hair at my age? Jonhild tilts her head, inspecting you closely. That's very unusual, my dear. Maybe you are stressed. Has something difficult been troubling you? Well, yes. Maybe how you feel about your acts towards Feralda? You hesitate and shake your head. You feel ashamed just thinking of the possible dangers you've exposed Feralda to. No way would you be able to confess that to Jonhild. How about you join me in my knitting tomorrow? I was going to make some scarves for the coming winter. That sounds very nice. I'll be there. She softly pats your hand and smiles. Take care, Isgard. Oh, take care, Isgard. With newfound warmth in your heart, you return home and do your usual chores. The next day, when you arrive at Jonhild's home, you can already smell hot herb tea and pie she's prepared. You enjoy sweet conversation with her while you eat. After you finish, Jonhild prepares the wool and needles. You take a seat. As you pick up your knitting needles and prepare for the first row of knits, your fingers start to hurt. You suck in a groan between your gritted teeth and shake off the wool. To ease the pain, you slowly open and close your hand. The joints hurt when you flex your fingers. Are you all right? I don't know what's happening, Jonhild. My hands hurt. I've barely started knitting. You swallow hard to hold back your tears. Oh, poor dear. If only we could visit the witch, or just had a village doctor. She gently hugs you and caresses your back. You choke back a sob. You are not alone, my dear. I am here with you, all right? You draw in deep breaths to calm down, and after a minute you break away to look at her. Her face is full of worry, and she takes your hands in hers. Isgard, to be specific, do your joints hurt? Yes. That only started well after I turned 50, my dear. You bite your lip. A tear rolls down your cheek. Jonhild sighs sadly and rubs your palms with her thumbs to soothe you. Drink tea often and try to take a walk outside every day. I know when we are scared, we want to hide away, but you have to be kind to your own body and keep it moving, especially now. Very good advice from Jonhild, I think. Can you do that for me? You nod. Good. But I also think it's all right if you take it easy for today and get some rest. Tell your mother that it was on my recommendation. You return home and tell your mother what Jonhild said. What? But tomorrow we're all going out to collect berries. Do you think you can at least carry a little? I'm sorry. She sighs. You can sleep today, at least. There's nothing pressing right now. You agree and head to your room to lay down. You've been sick before, but you've never feared what was happening to your body so much. What if tomorrow it hurts even more? You lay awake in bed with fear in your heart. The next day, you follow the other women of the village to collect berries in the forest. Your mother, true to her word, had given you a small basket. Soon you spot Miltraud and Sieglind and move to join them. Sieglind is looking much more tired than usual, and Miltraud's hair looks thinner. The last few days, were they also strange for you? I think my back is hurting more than usual, and my skin is so dry. In my case, it's my arms. They don't seem to be as strong anymore. I almost let my son fall. Sieglind covers her face with one free hand. You had never seen her so weak and afraid before, not even just after childbirth. My hair is slowly falling out, and my fingers hurt when I tried to knit. Jonhild said those things only happened to her when she was in her 50s. Sieglind looks terrified. Wait. No. But We're aging faster, aren't we? No, we can't. I need to be strong. My son can't take care of himself yet. Sieglind, not so loud. She forces herself to calm down. Thankfully, no one has noticed her outburst. Have you guys seen anyone else looking weak or sick? Maybe there's something in the water or the well. You shake your head. So does Sieglind. So, only those of us who gave their blood to Feralda are getting worse? You all turn your heads to look at Feralda. She is full of energy as she forages with the others. Her hair, her skin, and her light movements all look bright and lively. You try to ignore the churning in your stomach when you look at her. You try to ignore the churning in her stomach when you look at her and push yourself to focus on the berries. Face it, Isgard. Don't try to look away. We don't know what it is. Feralda just did what we told her to. Yeah, and it all worked out well for her. Look at her. Young, pretty, healthy, with a kind noble as a future husband to boot. How about we look in the witch's cabin again? Maybe there's a way to undo the spell. But we did all that to make sure the noble falls in love with Feralda. What if we undo it and suddenly the noble has no interest? What about the village? We'll go to the cabin and decide after we read how to do it. Understood? Her fierce gaze makes you take a step back. You pause, but ultimately nod in agreement. Man, who knows what Sieglind is capable of? That same night, the three of you ransack the cabin until you finally find the book again. Just why wasn't it in the same spot as before? Before you can think about it, you try to concentrate on your more pressing issue. You leaf through the book, stopping once again at the page for the spell of youth and beauty. Brows furrowed, you carefully read it again, continuing to the next few pages. They contain notes of past experiments the witch made until the right words for the spell were found. And then, at the bottom of the last page, you find a paragraph on reversing the spell itself. Read it, hurry! I used a test group and made them give their youth and beauty to one of the other members. Observing them made it clear that the ones who gave their blood age faster. A verbal reversal spell was not enough to stop the process. The only method I've found so far is to kill the one who drinks the blood after the receiver's death. The others slowly recover. Maybe it's like damming a river, or testing will be needed. Man, of all the times that you needed, to really read the instructions, all of you freeze in silence. For what feels like an eternity, you can only hear the wind and animals outside. Miltraud starts to shake her head. But Feralda just did what we told her to, so we are aging a lot faster, and we don't even know how much time we have left. Sieglind slams her hands on the table. I can't die so soon. What about my child? Who is going to take care of him? I want to see him grow up. I want to be there for my husband. I can't leave them behind. She takes a deep, shuddering breath. It's decided. As unfair as it is to Feralda, we need our lifespans back. And you will tell no one about this, understood? You were about to say something, but she grabs your wrist so hard it hurts. Try telling someone and see what you'll make me do, Isgard. Terrified, you mumble some sort of reply. Sieglind lets go of your wrist, and you all step outside in silence. You return home with leaden feet and a heavy heart, and you shut the door. As you shut the door, you could swear you heard a snicker in the wind. Ooh, intense. The next morning, you almost let the axe fall onto your feet while chopping wood. How are the elders doing their daily tasks with such weakened bodies? Sieglind visits you after breakfast. She brings you behind your own home, out of sight from both the villagers and the visitors. Eastgard, meet me later in the forest by our usual spot. We need to discuss something. You can imagine what it is about. Inkthing says, got a jet, but I hope you're enjoying the game so far. Thanks for streaming. I really am enjoying this. This is awesome. Thank you, Inkthing, for hanging out. I appreciate you. Have a good night. You can imagine what it is about. All right, I will be there. Around dusk, you return to the forest to meet Sieglind again. This time, Miltroud is there as well, looking just as uncomfortable as you. Everyone's here, good. So, we need a plan. And no, we cannot leave Faralda alive. Is this the conviction of a mother? Or was this side of Sieglind always there? Was she always this ready to sacrifice others for her own survival? Eastgard, any ideas? Well, it's kind of hard now because the noble cares about Faralda. Getting her to be alone with us might be harder now too. Miltroud, have anything to counter that? Maybe we can convince her if we say it's to make a surprise present for the Honorable Odon. Didn't you used to make flower garlands for Faralda when you were kids? You avoid Sieglind's eyes. It's such an innocent memory, unmarked by your later jealousy of Faralda, a time when you just enjoyed her company. And now, Sieglind wants to use that to lure Faralda to her death? Are you listening, Eastgard? Yes. Then invite her to go flower picking. Tell her you want to make a flower garland for the Honorable Odon with her. You take your time replying, but you know Sieglind will only accept one answer. Still, you want to delay her plans if you can. But looking for flowers at night wouldn't make sense. Oh, right. Just get her to come into the deep woods then, near the cabin. We just need to push her face right into the earth so her screams won't be as loud. What a cold-hearted, matter-of-fact answer. Go now. Miltroud and I will prepare while you get her. You turn around and walk back to the village. Will you really go through with this? I mean, this seems like the obvious choice, right? We should not kill a person. It's pretty much against everything I stand for, believe in, and have been taught. However, I am going to die, and that sucks. And my two terrible friends are going to die. I kind of feel like we all deserve it, though. We do. We're going to save Faralda. Unless anybody has any objections. You know what I should do? I'm a fool. I haven't saved it all. Let's go ahead and save, and maybe we can turn back time after this. Faralda doesn't deserve this. You've always wanted the village to get better, even if it means you have to pay the price. You accept your new condition and begin to think. There's still time to stop the plan, but you have to be careful. You know Sieglind won't forgive you for this. But we're dying anyway, so whatever. You head to Faralda's home, but she isn't there. Her foraging basket and shears are gone, so she's likely in the forest gathering herbs. You find Faralda alone and wave her over to you. Oh, Eastgard, what is it? I was just about to go home. I just had an idea for something that we could gift to his lordship as a surprise. Oh? Remember making flower garlands together? He would certainly be happy about getting one from you. You think so, but that was when we were younger. And girls only gave those to the boys they liked. Well, I would say you two are really close now, no? All the more reason to. Yes. What a sweet reaction. You watch her with conflicting feelings. You want to cheer her on, but you also feel jealous seeing her happiness. A kind, good-looking man, a rich one no less, giving her such attention and care. You know she is kind and think she deserves it, but it doesn't stop that lingering bitterness. And then there's this murky feeling of immense guilt that aches in your chest when you remember Sieglin's words. Listen, Feralda, there's something I need to confess. What? You pull Feralda closer to you and carefully look around. Pull some of my hair. Feralda does so, confusion written on her face. See how it comes away with your fingers? That's how easily they fall out now. What? Are you all right? Feralda, there are other things happening. It's not just me. Sieglind, Miltrode, and I all have noticed our bodies changing. We're aging faster. But how? We went back to the cabin and read more of the book. Apparently what the spell does is it gives you our youth and beauty. Feralda reels back terrified and rapidly shakes her head. No! No, I would have never agreed to this if I knew. We've got to do something. I know. But Feralda, to reverse the effects we would have to kill you. It said it was the only way, and I'm here to warn you because Sieglind and Miltrode are planning to try that way. But what shall we do? We need to find his lordship immediately. As a noble, he can give out judgment to us. That would mean, yes, Miltrode and Sieglind would die, and maybe I would too. Feralda shakes her head and looks at you with determination. I can't imagine how much courage this took. I will convince Odin to spare you, since you've saved my life. The only problem is, I heard that today he is surveying the woods. I'm not sure why, but I think they're looking for bandits. You look in the direction where Sieglind and Miltrode are waiting for you. If you don't bring Feralda now, they're going to start looking for you. Excuse me while I take a drink. We need to be faster than them. We need his protection now. You and Feralda run. You hope that Sieglind and Miltrode wait long enough before they come looking for you. You look around and hope you can spot Odin's men. Should you scream to catch their attention, would they mistake you for a bandit? But what if Sieglind hears your scream? What? Just then, something sharp and hard hits you in the back of your head. As you fall down and scream, you see Feralda falling with you. We both hit well, Miltrode. Oh, Sieglind, far too clever by half. Just when you struggle to stand up, your face is pushed into the ground, dampening your scream and filling your mouth with dirt. You hear Feralda struggling next to you as well, but whatever struck you both in the head has weakened you too much to break free. A pounding pain ripples out from where Miltrode hits your skull again and again. Searing heat immediately envelops your whole head and distorts your face as you try to scream. You taste earth, grass, and blood from your wounds, bitter in your mouth. They kick and beat you, and after a while, they switch to smashing big rocks against your bodies. You slip between hazy consciousness, searing pain, and dull recognition. The crunches and smashes sound further and further away, until finally, there's only darkness. Ending. Snitches. Snitches get stitches. Oh, bad end. Let's go ahead and reload. Go to history. Is that? No, not history. Load. Confirm. Yeah, we don't want to die. Okay, we're gonna kill Feralda. Not what I want to do. But what are our options? You are terrified to know how fast you're aging. You want to live. Accepting what that means, you take a deep breath and make up your mind. I've decided to become a murderer. Feralda has to go. You head to Feralda's home, but she isn't there. Her foraging basket and shears are gone, so she's likely in the forest gathering herbs. You find Feralda alone and wave her over to you. Oh, Eastgard, what is it? I was just about to go home. I just had an idea for something that we could gift to his lordship as a surprise. Oh? Excuse me. Remember making flower garlands together? He would certainly be happy about getting one from you. You think so, but that was when we were younger. And girls only gave those to the boys they liked. Well, I would say you two are really close now, no? All the more reason to. Yes. What a sweet reaction. You watch her with conflicting feelings. You want to cheer her on, but you also feel jealous seeing her happiness. A kind, good-looking man, a rich one no less, giving her such attention and care. You know she is kind and think she deserves it, but it doesn't stop that lingering bitterness. And then there's this murky feeling of immense guilt that aches in your chest when you remember Sieglin's words. Since you were done here anyway, want to head a little further into the forest for those flowers? Oh. Nayasobu, hey, thank you so much for playing our game. You can skip text you've already read by clicking the skip button below. You know what? Thank you. I think I will do that. And welcome to the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Oh. No. Skip button. Let's see. Maybe I need to do it. I see history, auto, save. I don't see skip.
Control.
Oh, control.
Hold down control.
I'm using the controller. That's there it is. Now I see it. Okay, so we go. All right. Well, this is about where. Yeah, we grew up here, Feralda. It should be fine. She thinks for a while, then nods. Let's go then. With heavy feet, you guide Feralda further and further in to where Sieglind and Mildred are waiting. Oh, no, someone says, but yeah, you're probably there already. Read the text, it was the same. I think you can just continue. Thank you. Here we go. Okay, so they're waiting for us in the forest here. You keep going in a certain direction. Are there better flowers there? Yeah, I know a spot. Memories of you playing with her when you were children flash by. Her smile, her laugh, her face when you started to ignore her. How she still treated you with kindness. You swallow down the lump in your throat and keep walking. And then finally, you stand before Sieglind and Mildred. Oh, you guys are here too? Sieglind smiles. Yeah, we're also gathering flowers for his lordship. We heard of the plan from Eastgard. You didn't need to help. You've already done so much. The three of you step closer and closer to Feralda. Sieglind and Mildred are holding stones behind their backs. Guys? You all immediately strike Feralda. You push her face into the ground, dampening her screams. The terror in her voice sends chills through you. You all hit her again and again, then kick and beat her when she falls to the ground. While you and Mildred continue, Sieglind smashes a big rock against her head. Feralda finally stops struggling. Now she lays still with a blank, empty stare. Blood slowly drips from her head and soaks the dirt around her. Miltroud, get the shovels. In silence, you clean up and bury her. Hours later. As Feralda's family waits in vain, Odon and his men search far and wide. At first it seems like they'll never turn up with anything. Days pass. But then, sending the three of you into a panic, Odon's hunting dogs find the body. You all do your best to react normally to the news. With the brutal state of the body, they seem to be looking for a man, with some guessing that it was a bandit's work. But since none of the villagers have seen her alone with a man other than Odon, and no bandits have been found, his search for suspects goes nowhere. They also can't determine when exactly she died. Did she get lost first and then murdered a few days later? Or was she killed on the same day she went missing? You listen for any signs that his investigation has made progress. None arrive. After a few days and no clues, they hold her funeral. The whimpers, sniffles, and weeping from the onlookers stab you like 1,000 needles. Your face darkens. Despite your mental scars, your body itself is doing much better. Your hair and joints grow stronger every day. It feels like your mind and body belong to two different people now. Feralda's coffin is raised on a stage for all to view her. It's surrounded by flowers the villagers are leaving for her when they pay respects. You couldn't bring yourself to leave an offering. Nearby, you spot Sieglinde holding her child in her arms. She hugs and holds him much more now. Next to her, Miltroud watches the funeral with a blank face. She reaches down to smooth her skirts, and you notice her hands are shaking. Excuse me while I take another sip here. Your eyes wander to Odon. He looks like he has lost the world. Odon has paid for all the funeral arrangements, including bringing in a priest to bless the body. It's a lavish goodbye. After the people have gazed upon Feralda's peaceful face for the last time, she is moved from the viewing stage to be buried. As the priest gives his blessing, Feralda's ornate coffin is carefully lowered into the ground. The funeral ends, and only whispers can be heard as everyone slowly leaves. Excuse me. You will live on, but of beauty only memories remain. Lost love. Wow. So that's two endings that I've got. I think it's been just over an hour, so I'm gonna switch over to the next game. But yes, shared beauty. So I didn't activate my Spooktober link. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Hold on one second while I get my act together. Let's see. We will enable Spooktober, and then. So if you have not done so already, I encourage you to give this game a try. Oh, did I do it wrong? There we go. And you can check out the link that Nightbot just threw up in the chat for the Spooktober VN Jam. Excuse me. I encourage you to download, play, and rate. Really important for these developers that the games get their ratings. So please go rate them for the jam and rate them on the page too.